Guys, what is going on? My name is Ryan. I play chess, put my videos on YouTube. Today I've got a great game of the French defense and how to simplify the game, which is a very important tactic. It also focuses on exchanges and how to go about doing them. And basically we'll see that I get up 2 pawns and then just dominate the rest of the game because I'm offering exchanges. So it starts off with e4, e6, d4, d5. And I bring my queen here, which is a nice move because it adds an attacker on this pawn here and also threatens this. He goes ahead and pushes the pawn, which is a fine move, and I take an exchange, and this allows me to come in with a check here, which is a pretty annoying check, and he makes the mistake of moving the knight here. This allows me to win my first pawn, and I threaten taking the rook here. Rook moves to this square, and I take this pawn. He recaptures, and I take back with the queen. Usually I don't like my queen being in the center so much, but I'm threatening to take this pawn right now, and I like my piece activity. He brings the knight right there, which is his best move, and I bring my queen right here to pin this king down, and yeah, just basically to get out of the way of being recaptured by that knight. He brings his bishop out here, and this allows me to win my second pawn. He recaptures, and I take with the queen. I'm 2 pawns up, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself, but he does have a major lead in development, but, you know, I got out safe and sound with 2 pawns. I have a nice pawn chain here in the center. I'm feeling like my king is going to be pretty steady, being uncastled for the next, 10 moves. So he castles. I bring my knight right here in lieu of this check right here, which would be pretty annoying. He threatens my queen again. I drop back 1, and he goes ahead with that check. I just bring my knight over here to this nice square, and he threatens it again. It's not a big deal. I go ahead and take time to castle. He brings his bishop back, knowing that he's not going to take this knight right here. And I go ahead and push this pawn, which threatens to trap one of these pieces here. And he goes ahead and pushes the bishop back, and I develop my last minor piece and pin this knight. We can now see, how much of an advantage this is to have these extra 2 pawns here in the center. These 2 pawns are dominating the game right now simply because, I control these central squares. I'm able to develop freely, and I just really enjoy my position right now. Since I am up with this nice, central control and 2 pawns up in material, I go ahead to try to exchange some pieces off and simplify the game. So I take this knight right here, and then I threaten to take the queen, and I go ahead and exchange off the second minor piece. He goes ahead and takes with the rook, and I'm now threatening to exchange off this rook. If I can exchange off this rook, it's going to be a pretty simple endgame being 2 pawns up with these 2 central pawns. He goes ahead and threatens this right here. I develop my last piece into the game. I have nice, pressure here on these files. And he adds another attacker to it, and I'm able to just eliminate it by pushing this pawn. He goes ahead and moves the queen here, and I go ahead and offer to simplify down even more. I offer an exchange of queens, and he did the right move in this position, which is to not exchange queens because you are down in material. You don't want to exchange. He goes back to his original position, and I bring this rook up, threatening him to, or just begging him to push this pawn here and kick my rook. He does so, and I threaten to take this pawn. He connects this pawn, and now I win my third pawn with this move. Not this move. I'm threatening the queen. I want the queen to move now. I have 3 defenders on this pawn, 1 which I can recapture before the queen, so I'm a-okay. He moves the queen, and I block the queen off from his queen side. Again, if you just look at my central pawns, my central control, it's all pretty huge right now. He's got nothing going for him. These rooks are not going to be able to get active anytime soon. He brings the queen back to, what is a semi-active square. He's threatening taking this pawn right here. I go ahead and just stop that and push this pawn up. He moves, the king, knowing that he really doesn't have any great moves, and I threaten to take this pawn here. He threatens to take my pawn. So I go ahead and just exchange off another piece, these pawns, and then I win my third pawn. You can see how when you offer exchanges and they don't accept them, there's always an advantage to that when they don't accept exchanges. This being, winning another pawn and having a large central control. He starts to try to get something going over here. I bring my rook back to an active central file. He brings his second rook over here. I'm really not too concerned about this simply because I can push this pawn here and just stop any advance he's got going. He threatens my queen. I ask for another exchange of queens, and he goes ahead and accepts it. I think this is a mistake in this position because exchanging queens is, it's your last active piece. And now immediately this pawn is going to be a huge nuisance. I go ahead and push it up 1. I win my 4th pawn. He puts another attacker on it, and I put another defender on it. He attacks this pawn. I defend that pawn. He checks me. I move over. He moves down. I threaten the rook. He brings it over here. I push this pawn and threaten to trap this rook pretty soon. He moves back to this pawn, trying to capture here. I just bring my king up, and then I threaten to take this rook here. and I'm now able to start to push this pawn. He moves the king over. If I'm able to get this pawn right here, it's all game over, and he knows that. So he moves the king right here, and this allows me to come in with check. And he offers an exchange, which was a mistake, even though the position is pretty ruined right now, because now I'm able to queen a pawn, and that was game. He resigned after that. Anyways, I like this game a lot simply because it shows how to exchange pieces, which is kind of more of a complicated concept than you would think, and I hope to add it to my beginner to chess master, example videos to explain how to, carry out the right kind of exchanges and at the right times in a game. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video, and I wish you the best of luck in your chess games. Thanks, bye. What's up, guys? Thanks again for watching my video here today. I really appreciate it, and if you have any questions about any specific moves or anything about the game, please leave them below. I'd love to answer those. And last but not least, if you got anything out of this video at all, or you just simply enjoyed it, I would highly encourage you to subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and that way you can, get in touch with any future videos that I put out. Anyways, have a good rest of your day, and good luck in your chess.